I remember when I was 7 years old. We lived in a one-story house in northern Saudi Arabia. All the houses around us were popular, as the governorates were still under construction at the time. Anyway, I had 2 older sisters and 1 younger. I was in the 1st or 2nd grade of elementary school at the time. I don't remember exactly, but I do remember that the school was about 1.5 kilometers away from our house, according to my current measurements. Between the school and the distance to our house was an abandoned White House. It was very large, like a hospital or an abandoned school. The outer doors were broken and placed next to the wall, so that when we went to school, we passed through the courtyard of that house. We would enter through the large broken doors, and when we returned from school, we did the same thing, despite the fear of my sisters and the students. We were children and didn't realize what we were doing. One day, as we were returning from school, my older sister insisted on seeing the inside of that abandoned house. It consisted of many rooms, which I believe were classrooms, because my sister said she saw tables and chairs scattered inside. Some of the classrooms were locked, so curiosity drove my sister to peek into one of the locked rooms through the keyhole. She saw something moving inside, as if someone was approaching the door to open it. I remember her suddenly screaming loudly and running towards us, telling us to run away. Everyone started running, and I ran after them, crying. They were older than me, and had already gone a long way. A week or less after that incident, precisely at sunset, when my mother was praying and we were playing in the street, a man with the appearance of an elderly sheik, wearing a dark robe and a shabby jacket, would pass by. For a week, he would pass by the same place and at the same time, as if waiting for an opportunity. The strange thing that still baffles us is that he only came when my mother was praying, and when we called her to hurry up and see him, he would disappear in the blink of an eye. The last time we saw him, my mother was praying, and we were playing outside. As usual with my younger brother, who was about 2 years old, the man came walking toward us, left us all, and went straight to my sister, while we were screaming, crying, and calling for my mother. He grabbed her by the neck as if he wanted to strangle her. He turned to look at my older sister, but when he heard my mother coming, he let go of her and walked quickly until he disappeared, faster than lightning. My mother ran after him, but he was gone. After that, we never saw him again until we left the area. But my sister, whose neck he held, told us that his eyes were frightening, as if there was a strange color under his eyelids. Despite my young age at the time, I will never forget that terror, which we still haven't been able to explain. No one believed us, even though everyone in the neighborhood says that the area is inhabited by jinn. Even my mother didn't believe us, because he only came when she was praying, as if he knew she was praying. And when we called her, he disappeared. Something strange happened to me recently. It was unbearably frightening. As soon as I remember it, my body trembles and I feel tense. A while ago, I moved into a new house with my family. This house had a very large basement where we stored our surplus furniture and belongings. One day, we were arranging the house for Mai and his family to come over for dinner with us, when my mother ordered me to carry a bag of our surplus belongings to place in the basement. I took the bag and went down to the dark basement. As soon as I stepped onto the cold floor, I heard the door behind me close by itself. I thought it was the wind and ignored it. Suddenly, I saw a man staring at me with wide eyes and a strange stare. I had no idea where he came from, and I couldn't see his features clearly. I thought he was a ghost and didn't pay much attention. After I left the basement, I went up to my room to rest a little and prepare to meet Mai and his family. While I was sitting, my eyes closed slightly from exhaustion. When I opened them, I saw the same man I had seen in the basement. For a moment, I thought I was hallucinating. I closed them and opened them again. I rubbed them several times, but the man did not budge. He remained standing in front of me, staring intently at me. I sought refuge in God from Satan 3 times and recited the throne verse, filled with utter terror and fear. Then my father opened the door and saw me in this state. He asked me what was wrong, so I told him what had happened. He told me to protect myself. Perhaps I was nervous about the arrival of my studies or some psychological pressure. His words calmed me down and I calmed down a little. An hour later, Mai and his family arrived, so I went out to meet them. While we were at the dining table, I looked across the room from where I was sitting, and I saw the same mysterious man standing there, staring at me. I decided not to be afraid of him, and I was fortified. I told myself, I'll go and see who he is. And what does he want from me? So I went down to the basement again. I don't know where I plucked up the courage, but I kept repeating in a fearful, trembling voice, "Who are you, and what do you want from me?" I repeated the call more than once, but each time I could only hear my own voice echoing in the darkness of the basement. I told myself maybe my father's words are true, and I'm just imagining it. But it seems I was hasty in my conclusion. As I was about to leave the basement, I saw the man standing in front of the door again, looking at me in that same strange, vague way. I felt a shiver run through my body, and I was overcome with confusion. What should I do, and what would he do? Then I found some courage in myself and shouted at the top of my voice, "I seek refuge in God from the accursed Satan. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful." I kept repeating it, but the man didn't disappear. He kept approaching me. At that moment, I heard my mother's voice calling me in a loud voice, but I was paralyzed, unable to move. As the man approached me, I saw his eyes clearly. They were wide and black, with no whites in them. Then I heard my father's voice saying to my mother, "Maybe you're in the basement." Then I heard the sound of his footsteps descending into the basement. I felt a sense of reassurance and thought, the man will surely disappear. And that's exactly what happened. When I saw my father, I ran toward him and hugged him out of fear. He asked me, "Why are you here? What's wrong with you?" I told him about the ghost that was haunting me. He asked me, "Did you seek refuge in God from Satan?" I said, "Yes, fortified." He said, "Okay, tomorrow I'll bring a sheik to recite the Quran over the house and over you, so don't be afraid." I felt comforted by my father's words and thanked God for his arrival. We then left and spent the rest of the evening, which everyone enjoyed except me, as I was distracted and hadn't spoken much to mine. He even asked my mother what was wrong. She replied that I was probably under psychological pressure because of our move to a new house. Finally, when the guests left, I felt sleepy and tired, so I decided to pray the Isha prayer and go to sleep. While I was asleep, I dreamt of the mysterious man again. I saw him watching me in that basement, and then I heard him say, "I won't harm you as long as you don't harm me. All I want is to feel comfortable in my home, in my room, the basement. You're bothering me with those old things you throw away in the basement, and I don't want anyone to go down there again. Please tell your father not to bring that sheik here, or I won't let you leave this house unharmed. I'll burn it down before he arrives." In the morning, I saw my father searching for the sheik's number. I told him, "Stop, Dad, and don't call." "It's just my imagination," he replied. "But you were in a pitiful state last night." I replied, "No, I'm fine, and that it was just psychological pressure." He said okay, and canceled his search for the number and went to work. Later that day, I told my mother everything that had happened to me and begged her not to go to the basement again. She agreed. Since that day, I no longer saw the mysterious man, but strange things started happening in the house. When I went out and my room was untidy, I would come back to find it completely tidy and clean. I would ask my mother, "Did you tidy the room?" She would say no. First, let me tell you that I'm not one to believe in superstitions, and I doubt the existence of magic. But what confuses me most is a story that happened to me a long time ago, when I was a child under 7. I'm a woman in her 50s, and God is my witness. In those distant times when I was a child in the neighborhood of one of the remote villages, I was playing with some of my friends in the early morning. A man came to us and took us children, boys and girls, with him. We were all under 7 years old. This man told us that their money had been stolen, and that there was a venerable sheik who could help them identify the thief, but he needed a young child. And indeed, the man took us with him, and we were more than 6 children. The sheik looked at us and said to the man, "I want the most innocent and pure of us." The sheik chose me over the other children. Then he said, "My daughter, take this mirror and put it in the water and look. You see anything inside it?" And I did as the sheik asked me. And I swear to you that I saw a man in the mirror. He was riding a camel with a bundle, and I don't know what was inside it. That's all I remember. It didn't matter to me much at the time. I went to play with my friends, and I don't know what happened next. Years passed, and that scene still replays before my eyes, as if it happened yesterday. What happened? How did it happen? Who was that person I saw in the mirror? These are puzzling questions that I have not found answers to this day.